Good day everyone, we are the Group 2 and we will be discussing about 6 core claims of globalization. And this is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Decadet Gamadlas. Today I'm going to discuss the first 6 core claims of globalization. First claim is globalization is about the liberalization and global integrations of markets. This claim emphasizes the economic aspect of globalization, focusing on free trade, the interconnectedness of global markets. This involves the reduction of barriers to international trade, such as traffics and quotas, as well as the increased movement of capital, labor, and information across borders. These allow for greater cross-border investment, production, and exchange of goods and services.
The second claim is globalization is inevitable and irreversible. This suggests that the process of globalization is a natural and unstoppable force in the modern world. It implies that as societies and economies continue to develop, they will inevitably become more interconnected and interdependent. This interconnectedness is seen as a result of advancements in technology, communication, and transportation, which make it easier for people, goods, and ideas to move across borders. According to this view, globalization is not something that can be easily halted or reversed because it is deeply embedded in the way the world functions today. Even if certain policies or movements try to slow it down or push back against it, the overall trend towards greater global integration will continue because it is driven by powerful underlying forces. This perspective sees globalization as an essential part of modern life, shaping everything from economic growth to cultural exchange, and believes that it will continue to evolve and expand over time.
Hi, I'm Esquadra Kentjan, and I'm discussing about nobody is in charge of globalization. Proponents of these claims argue that globalization is a historical process that cannot be stopped or reversed. It is seen as a force of modernization that is reshaping the world in a way that is beyond the control of individual nations. So, the idea that nobody is in charge of globalization highlights the complex, decentralized nature of global economic, political, and cultural processes. Globalization is driven by a multitude of factors including technological advancements, trade, international organizations, multinational corporations, and the actions of individual countries. There isn't a single entity or group that controls it. Rather, it involves through the interactions of various stakeholders with sometimes conflicting interests. This lack of centralized control can lead to both opportunities and challenges such as economic growth and inequality, cultural exchange, and tensions. So, why is globalization nobody is in charge? The paper suggests that there is a lack of centralized control in globalization, indicating that nobody in charge governs the process, aligning with the concept and decentralized influence in a nobody in charge world. Globalization is shaped by in-between actors, not great powers.
So good day everyone, I am Cadet Madranka from the Group 2 and here is my topic. the globalization that offers several long-term that benefits everyone. First, we include the economic growth by opening up markets and encouraging the international trades. Globalization fosters economic growth and development. Countries can access a new markets for their goods and services, leading to increase the employment and higher incomes. And second, to innovate the technology. Globalization facilitates the spread of technology and ideas across borders, spurring innovations, companies, and countries that benefit from shared knowledge and advancement, leading to improved products and services. So, third, cultural exchange to increase interaction between the cultures, promotes greater understanding and tolerance, exposure to different cultures that enrich societies and lead to a more diverse and exclusive global communities. Fourth, we have the access to resources. Countries can access resources that are not available domestically, leading to more efficient production and consumption. This can also lead to more competitive prices and improve the standards of living. Fifth, the improvement living standards. As economies and grow and industries develop, there are often that improves in infrastructure, healthcare, educational, and contributing to a higher quality of life. The sixth, we have the global cooperation. So the globalization encouraged that countries to work together on issues like climate change, health, pandemics, and securities, fostering global cooperation and collective problem solving. So while there are challenges and inequalities associated with globalization, its long-term benefits can significantly enhance the global prosperity and well-being.
I'm the Cadet Acevedo and this is my report. Claims 5. Claims 5. Globalization further the spread of democracy in the world. The passage argued that while globalization is often credited in spreading democracy, the type of this democracy promotes is limited and primarily serves the interests of economic elites rather than genuinely empowering the broader population. Like for example, link between globalization and democracy. Globalization is said of the spread of democracy by promoting free markets and economic growth, which some argue leads to democratic governance. This idea was popularized in the late 1980s and continues to influence global policy. Example number 2. Criticism of Athenian democracy. Critics argue that a version of democracy promoted the globalization of a teen of superficial and if focus on a normal aspect like voting but doesn't ensure broad participation and political and economic decision. This version of democracy called hierarchy maintains that the power of elites rather than distributing it more equally. And the third example is U.S. foreign policy and globalization. The passage also discusses how the U.S., especially after the 9/11, the idea of the spreading democracy justification of military intervention, like in Iraq, However, these efforts often prioritize establishing free markets economics, fostering true democratic governance. Meaning, the passage suggests that while globalization may spread democratic structures, it often promotes a limited versions of democracy that doesn't necessarily lead to the true empowerment of the people. Instead, it can reinforce existing power structures and benefits economic elites. These critics a challenge to the nations that globalization automatically leads to positive democratic outcomes.
Global War on Terror, or GWOT, are interconnected as the phenomena of increased global interconnectedness have both facilitated and been shaped by the global efforts to combat terrorism. Here are some examples of global war and terror along with its pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. Technological innovation in security. This means advances in technology driven by globalized economies have improved surveillance, intelligence gathering, and precision in military operations, reducing collateral damage in counterterrorism efforts. Example is the usage of drone warfare. Intelligence gathering. The surveillance capabilities of drones have provided invaluable intelligence, helping to track the movement of terrorist groups, identify their hideouts, and monitor their communications. As for the cons, it primarily involves human rights violations. In some counterterrorism measures have led to human rights issues or abuses, including torture, extrajudicial killings, and indefinite detention without trial. Example is the Abu Ghraib prison in year 2003-2004. It is located near Baghdad, Iraq. In 2004, reports and images emerged showing U.S. military personnel abusing and humiliating prisoners at Abu Ghraib. The abuses includes physical abuse, prisoners are subjected to electric shocks. Sexual abuse, prisoners are forced to strip naked. Psychologically abused, people are threatened with death and rape. Lastly, deprivation of basic needs, detainees were denied food, water, and medical care.
Globalization requires a global war on terror. Globalization connects the world through trade, communication, and culture, making countries more interdependent. However, it also makes it easier for terrorism to spread across borders. To protect global peace and stability, nations must work together to fight terrorism everywhere. This means sharing intelligence, coordinating security efforts, and addressing the root causes of terrorism globally. As the threat is not limited to just one country, but affects everyone in interconnected world. Security and trade. The free flows of goods and services is one of the pillars of globalization, can be threatened by terrorism, like attack on critical infrastructure such as shipping lanes or financial system can disrupt global trade. The argument here is that a global war on terror is necessary to protect these systems and ensure the stability of the global economy. So, pros of claim. So one of the pros of claim is like a protection of global economy. So by ensuring the security of global trade routes and financial systems, a global war on terror can help to maintain the stability and growth of the global economy. So one of the cons of the claim is the most common is human rights concern. So the global war on terror has been criticized for leading to human rights abuses. including torture, infinite detention without trial, and the violation of privacy rights through mass surveillance.
Here are concrete examples for each of Manfred Stinger's 6 core claims of globalizations. Number 1 is globalizations is about the liberations and global integrations of market. The establishment of the World Trade Organization, so WTO, in 1925. The WTO goal is to facilitate international trade by reducing tariff, quotas, and other trade barriers, thereby promoting free trade and integrating global markets. The next is globalization is inevitable and irreversible. The rapid advancement of digital technology and the internet. The internet has created globally connected world where information, communication, and commerce can occur instantaneously across borders, making the global integrations of market and cultures difficult to reverse. Nobody in charge of globalizations. The rise of multinational corporations like Apple, Google, and Coca-Cola. These companies operate in multiple countries and influenced by complex web of international regulations, market forces, and cultural factors, making it difficult for any single government. The next is globalization benefits everyone. The economic growth experienced by countries like China and India. Globalization has allowed these countries to access international markets, attract foreign investment, and access international markets, attract foreign investment, and became major players in global economy, lifting millions of peoples out of poverty and raising the overall standards of living. The next is globalizations furthers the spread of democracy in the world. The influence of global media and social network during the Arab Spring 2010-2011, platforms like Facebook and Twitter help spread democratic ideas and mobilize citizens in countries like Egypt and Tunisia, contributing to movement that sought greater political freedom and democracy. And the last is globalization requires a global war of terror. The international response to the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks in the United States. In the aftermath, countries around the world coordinated efforts to combat terrorism, leading to the formation of global alliance, increased intelligence sharing, and military interventions in Afghanistan and Iraq.